WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Political tug-of-war is shaping up as state leaders figure out next steps in the response to COVID-19. The questions today all revolve around who has spending authority for the $1.25 billion of federal CARES Act money in Mississippi. Courtney Ann Jackson has the very latest.
Masked, socially distanced, and ready to take on the question of who holds the purse strings, Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann and Speaker Philip Gunn laid out their case Friday morning.
State of Mississippi appropriations, at least since 1890, have been done by the legislature. 174 people who are responsible, transparent, and elected by the people.
The governor says that by letting him spend the money, he can get it where it needs to go more quickly. That makes for a good soundbite, but what voice does that give the citizens in that decision-making process? Who speaks for the citizens in that process?
They both made this note.
We hold Governor Reeves in high regard. What we do today is not personal.
Hours later, while the legislature wrapped up its business, the governor weighed in during his daily briefing.
I think they really believe this is about internal politics. Who has the power? Is it legislative versus executive? I don't think they're bad people. I really just don't think they realize the damage this would do.
Reeves has repeatedly maintained in recent days that his interpretation of the state law and precedent is that the governor has the spending authority. He says the legislative process is a good one, but in situations like this, it would tie his hands and keep money from those who need it.
Best case scenario, they overestimate and send a whole lot of money back to the federal government when it goes unused. Worst case scenario, they underestimate and people die because we can't get them what they need.
Reeves raising this question as it relates to the legislature's return.
If the law says that I can't do it, then why are we changing the law?
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
The bill now goes to the governor. If he vetoes it, it is back to the legislature. The Mississippi Department of Health is reporting 397 new cases of COVID-19 today. The new positives bring the state's total to over 7,200 cases. 20 new deaths are also being reported. There are a total of 281 coronavirus deaths statewide. 11 of the deaths reported today occurred between March 29th and April 16th and are based on death certificate investigations. The health department estimates about 3,400 people have recovered from the virus. Over 71,000 Mississippians have been tested for COVID-19. The state health officer, Dr. Thomas Dobbs, sent out a warning to Mississippians today.
This is far from over, okay? And just want everyone to stay vigilant because this thing is not even remotely toward the end as far as like number of people getting sick.
Dr. Dobbs also encourages people to shelter at home if they're able. He added that the risk wasn't any less than it was 3 weeks ago. Well, there have been a lot of changes regarding Mississippi's reopening. In addition to regulations for the state, there are also local rules for individual cities. Our Stephanie Poole has more on what Columbus city leaders are trying to do to keep people healthy and safe.
The pandemic isn't over just yet, and Columbus city leaders are reminding citizens of the rules in place.
The city council passed a resolution the other day that requires employees of businesses that are open to the public to ensure that their employees are masked. We did not pass a resolution requiring customers to wear a mask.
City Attorney Jeff Turnage says even with businesses required to cover up, citizens should still protect themselves when out in public. The city's curfew is another concern. The council implemented a new curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Only essential travel and activities are permitted between those hours.
Well, the police department has been very kind to people thus far, but they have the authority to issue citations up to $1,000 for chronic violators and people who do not heed the warning to comply. It's not a hard choice to issue the citation for somebody that are knowingly placing people at risk after being told not to.
GLORIA HERRIOTT owns HOLLYHOCKS in downtown Columbus. She's urging community members to abide by the rules so she can keep her doors open and hopefully flatten the curve.
We want to be able to leave our homes. We want to get our lives back. And for me, that means opening HOLLYHOCKS. So this is our first day and we are thrilled. But it is important to be smart. And if wearing a mask is what it takes, I'm willing. Most of the small businesses are really hurting. And fortunately, we've been around a long time, and so we had a little put away to get us through.
We should be strictly enforcing those guidelines among ourselves and not relying on the police department to do it.
WCBI has learned Columbus Mayor Robert Smith will be announcing a Restart Columbus committee. The committee will develop 3-step recommendations to allow businesses to reopen to the public as allowed by the state and federal guidelines.
Well, how about today for a perfect blue sky spring day? Hard to find any clouds out there, a picture perfect day. Hopefully you were able to get outside and enjoy it like I was. Went for a walk in downtown Starkville. Anything to get some fresh air, especially with the weather as nice as it is right now. Temperatures still fairly comfortable as we get into the 10 o'clock hour. We're 61 in Columbus, 65 still in Tupelo. We're 59 already in Coffeyville, and everybody tonight on their way down into the 50s. We're going to be down into the mid-50s by the time we wake up by 6 a.m. tomorrow. Mostly clear overnight and another beautiful sunny day tomorrow. Just a touch warmer. We'll get up to 84 for the high. Again, a perfect day to get outside. Maybe head to the backyard pool if you haven't already this year. We've got a few days of nice weather coming up. I'll tell you all about it coming up in just a little bit. Scott.
All right, Trevor, thanks so much. Well, yesterday we brought you an exclusive interview with Kennedy Brewer, whose wrongful conviction is highlighted in a new Netflix series called The Innocence Files. Tonight, we're hearing from the people who helped put the documentary together. Our Quentin Smith speaks with one of the producers and has more on why they say it's important to share these kinds of stories.
It's now a popular show on Netflix. The Innocence Files focuses on individuals who've been wrongfully convicted. Two of them, LaVon Brooks and Kennedy Brewer, are both from Wcbi County. Their stories became a passion project for the same group that helped them regain their freedom.
The idea was to kind of do a broad look at the problems in our justice system. It's broken down into different segments of, the court system and the court process, but ours focused on just the evidence and looking at misapplied forensic evidence.
Lauren Fulton served as the field producer for the project. She spent 8 months in Mississippi gathering archive footage, court records, and interviewing those involved in both cases to give an in-depth look at what happened.
We were just amazed once we got to Mississippi how much was preserved and how much was accessible. To get all of those materials and to be able to have access to these characters, it really just helped to bring our story to life.
For Fulton, this project took her on a personal journey. See, the two cases happened less than 30 miles from where she grew up.
You rarely work on projects that take you home. And for me, I was the same age as both the victims, both Courtney and Christine, growing up.
Growing up, she didn't know anything about the crimes or wrongful convictions, but by the end of the project, she gained 2 new friends and a deeper appreciation of how the 2 men were able to overcome all of the adversity that came their way.
Every day and every experience for them is a gift after you go through something like that, and to be able to document even a part of that was a huge honor.
Fulton hopes the 8-part documentary will shine a light on others who are wrongfully convicted and ultimately lead to their freedom.
It's not only LaVon and Kennedy, it's so many people like them, and it's our hope that by telling these stories, it will shine a light on the flaws of the justice system and actually, provoke people to act and to make a change.
The Innocence Project released this documentary in April. Fulton says they hope to make a second series to this project, but those plans haven't been finalized. All right, we're going to send things back over to meteorologist Trevor Burchett. And Trevor, I told you in the 9 o'clock hour, margarita and pool.
I'd be great weather for it this weekend. Anything you want to do at the pool. You want to have some way to cool down, though. It is going to start to get a little warmer. We're getting into that spring, summertime kind of pattern. Yeah. And Scott, one of my favorite things to do when the weather's like this is just roll the windows down and drive around. Put some music on. And apparently this dog here shares the same sentiment. This is Maya. She's trying to get the car started. She wants to go for a summertime drive with the windows down tomorrow. A great day for it. Temperatures getting up into the 80s with plenty of sunshine. You've got to look at your full forecast coming up right after this.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Trevor Burchett.
Well, if you still have the cover on the backyard pool, this weekend might be the weekend to get it going. Temperatures getting up into the mid and upper 80s in some spots. Plenty of blue sky and sunshine. Basically repeats of what we saw today for Saturday and Sunday. Good weather even going to stick around as we get into next week. So we're getting into that warmer summertime pattern. Definitely a perfect time to get those backyard pools back in action. Right now, clouds and radar showing us not much in the way of cloud cover and certainly no rainfall. All of that stuff is way off to the north up into southern Illinois and Indiana. Right now, as I mentioned, just a few high clouds, and that's going to continue overnight tonight. We'll play this through the future. You see just a few of those clouds coming on through here. As we get through Saturday, same story. Just a few high clouds similar to what we saw today. We are going to have a system approach the area on Sunday, but it's not going to quite make it. You see the cold front there? It's going to kind of stall out and become a stationary front right off to the north in northern Arkansas and Tennessee. And that basically means all of the storm activity and the rain activity is going to stay up to the north. Can't rule out a sprinkle or two on Monday, but generally we're going to be dry as long as that front stays off to our north. Another thing, though, if that front is to our north, it means the warmer temperatures stay right on top of us. So we're going to be on a warming trend as we get into the next few days. Monday, even warmer. That cold front is going to kind of get a little bit of motion into it as we get into Tuesday. That's going to bring us the chance for a few showers and maybe a rumble of thunder as we get to Tuesday. Before then, though, certainly looking like a dry pattern for the next few days. Now, today is the first day of May. Looking back to April, the highest temperature recorded 82. That was back on the 5th. Lowest was 36 on the 16th. The rainiest day was April 19th. We picked up over 3 inches of rain here in Columbus. And the rain, the big story here in Columbus and across the area, we picked up 9 inches of rainfall just about here in the city of Columbus. Compare that to what we normally get for the month of April, 4.77 inches. So we got nearly double what we normally get in terms of rainfall for the month of April. Fortunately, as I mentioned, we're in a drier pattern right now. Dry tonight. 54 for the low, calm, cool, and quiet. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, lots of sunshine and blue sky. That's going to allow us to warm up into the mid and upper 80s. And again, we are going to stay dry for at least the next few days. A slight chance for some showers and storms on Tuesday, and then we're dry all again until we get toward Friday. So again, on the AccuWeather 7-day forecast, the weekend looking picture perfect. Highs in the mid and upper 80s, lots of sunshine. Some chances for storms on Tuesday, mostly dry though for the next 7 days. We're back with more after this. Stay with us.
Welcome back, everyone. The days are longer and warmer, and many people thinking about planting a garden. That may sound overwhelming, but our own resident gardener, Eric Lampkin, makes it look so easy and actually fun.
I'm Eric Lampkin. At night, I'm the 6 and 10 producer, but during the day you'll usually find me out here in my garden. And I'm here to introduce you to one of the easiest things in the world. People think gardening's hard. It's not. This is what I call the gateway drug to gardening. It's nothing but a couple of bags of soil, some seeds, and water. You're good to go. Now here you see on either side of me, these are what I call my salad bars. It's a mixture of lettuce and other salad greens. I set these up just to basically keep the bags of soil off the ground. What I'm going to show you today is how to do this and a couple of different options on how to do it. I'll show you how. All right, so this is the new salad bar. I might say the 3rd generation. And I built this basically using some scrap 1x4 I had laying around, chicken wire, a few screws, got it set up on sawhorses. So what we're going to do, easiest thing, got 2 50-pound bags of soil. Got these at the co-op. So we got a box, we got potting soil. Next thing you need is a knife. Pretty simple operation. You don't want to do this all the way end to end. Basically what you want to do is a little slit down the middle. And when it's all said and done, we will actually cut this piece of flap away. Got your dirt up here. Do this on both bags, obviously. All right, we got some pretty black soil here. It's going to be good. You want to kind of move this to the edges a little bit, fan it out a little bit, get it even as you can. Just kind of getting this out, kind of banking it up a little bit in the ends. And that way when it starts to really rain, you don't get all your soil washing down to the sides. You'll have a little bank along the edge here. Take my little garden knife here, I'm going to make a little easy furrows. You want to do it shallow. Actually, lettuce seed only has to be about a 1/4 inch deep. That's why it does so well in these bags like this. The other thing about lettuce seed, it's really small. Lettuce seed is tiny, so a little bit of it goes a long way and a lot of it goes a real long way. And we're just kind of sprinkling. You probably won't even be able to see this, and I'm probably sowing a little heavy here, but that's why you thin things out. So we got the seeds in. Hopefully they're kind of evenly spaced. All that's left now, cover them up a little bit. We're going to give it a good soaking with the garden hose. Hey, if you don't have a garden hose, you can use a watering can, tea kettle, whatever you got. It doesn't make that much difference. Just so long you give it a good soaking the first go round and get it down there, give it a chance to germinate. As warm as it's been, it should be pretty easy to germinate right now. I forgot one thing, and this is very important. No matter how you set these up, you have to have drain holes in the bottom of your bag for the water drain. I've already watered this. I've already soaked it in good. So this is the last step. All right, this is pretty easy. It's all you need is your handy dandy knife, and you don't have to have any sort of set pattern. You just want to cut several little slits in the bottom of your bags of soil to give it some room to drain. So there you have it. Pretty simple stuff, and hopefully in the next few weeks these beds are going to look like those beds over there. Be seeing a little green stuff popping up, and you'll have your simple garden and some good salads too. And hey folks, if I can do this, you can do this.
And Eric brings a salad for dinner almost every night. Now, if you're curious how that project turned out, Eric tells me that they shot that segment about 10 days ago, and this is what the salad bar looked like this morning. He figures in another 30 days or so, he should be cutting some fresh lettuce. Well, after a 1/4 century in the dugout, an area baseball coach is hanging up his cleats. Courtney takes a look back at his career when we come back.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb.
It was 26 years ago that Lewis Earnest took the head baseball coaching position here at Hamilton. However, now he's ready to begin a new chapter, retirement.
You don't ever know when is right. I don't know if now is right necessarily.
6 state titles. That's how Hamilton will remember Coach Earnest. He was the first to bring the hardware home after winning the 1997 1A Baseball State Championship. Later, Earnest added 2 more trophies to the display case in 1999 and 2001, as well as 3 slow-pitch softball titles in 2004, 2009, and 2012.
They're all special in a certain way. Of course, the first one is special because it's the first in 97. But there's something different about every one of them. Big plays, different kids.
Nearly 23 years later, Earnest remembers his first title like it was yesterday.
Played Natchez Cathedral. They were 24-0 when we went down there. And when we got back here after playing them, they were 24-2. So, you know, we won those 2 and won it all. And, you know, I remember the fans coming over the outfield wall. Back then, you played championships on your home field.
However, it's not the championships that Earnest says he's going to miss the most. His toughest goodbye will be to the baseball field.
There wasn't much of anything here when I started, and everything here has got my fingerprint on it in one way or another. What built it, this one and the softball field, and it's special to me. I've told people it's kind of like it's my baby.
Although Earnest may no longer be the man in charge, he says he doesn't plan on staying away from the baseball field he calls home.
Thank you for a great opportunity, a great career. I'm gonna miss everything about it. I'm still gonna be down here a lot, but I'm gonna miss it.
Hamilton baseball now begins a new era as 6-year assistant coach Dallas Flippo takes over the program. Reporting in Hamilton, Courtney Robb, WCBI Sports.
We love a good feel-good Friday story. If you live in Starkville, you probably know Jeremiah Chandler. He's a manager for almost every sport at Starkville High School. He spent the evening saying hello to folks from his home, and in full Yellow Jacket style, many from the Starkville School District drove by to say hi. Some had balloons, others had some signs that they gave out. Just an old-fashioned drive-by hello. Gotta love it.
Great story there, Scott. Great weather for a parade today and for the weekend, warming up into the mid and upper 80s by Monday. Slight chance for some showers on Tuesday and then again on Friday, but generally a dry pattern for the next 7 days.
All right, sounds good, Trevor. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great weekend.